It's September day 8. Today, if you love a Panera bread soups, you're going to love today's recipe because we're making a copycat. It's Panera bread, chicken and wild rice soup, and it's so easy to make. And you can find the full recipe linked in the description below. Carrie with eatingonadime.com, and we're celebrating Souptember. We're doing 10 days of soup recipes on YouTube, but the party is extending to emails. So below we have a link for our Souptember, and we are sending a brand new soup recipe every single day in your inbox. So that way you are packed with delicious, comforting soup recipes so you're ready for all winter long, and you can get those for free in the link below. Now, before we get started, don't forget, like and subscribe. We have busted over 150,000 subscribers, and we are super excited to have you here. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more of our family-friendly recipes. The first thing we got to do is chop our veggies. Now, if you get a little stressed when you're making a soup on the stovetop, go ahead. My trick would be to get everything ready before you head to the stovetop. So we're going to chop up some 3 carrots, 2 celeries, and it fell apart. A half an onion, white onion. Now I'm going to cheat and use my food chopper today. You can chop it by hand, but I love this thing. This is probably one of my all-time favorite kitchen gadgets that I've bought. I don't really love a lot of kitchen gadgets, but I love this one. It comes with 2 trays inserts, and we have a link for this too. I'm going to use the smaller one today. I like the smaller one when I'm doing like soups and stuff because I want them to be small. Now for the onion, I already have it peeled. We're just going to cut that half in half. So we have these like quarters, and then I push them down with the point side down, and there you go, it's chopped. And that's how easy it was to chop up a half an onion. Then we're going to do the same thing with our celery. I just trim off the edges, anything that don't look good. Now celery is really easy to chop up, but you can't really get easier than using the chopper. So then all I'm doing is cutting them into pieces to where they will actually fit in my food chopper. So I'm just making them small enough. This one I'm going to cut into thirds. And a little trick when you're doing your food chopper, if you just set it on top and then hit it. So I've noticed like some people have just tried to go like this, slam it down. It's easier just to let it sit and then just press it down. Now we're going to chop up our carrots. Our carrots, look how beautiful that is. Our carrots you can use in the food chopper, but I don't really like it in the food chopper because sometimes it can be really hard. Now since these are really little carrots today, they probably won't be as bad, but I'm going to hand chop these. Now when you're chopping carrots, basically I just chop them up lengthwise. Now these are really skinny carrots, but if you had fatter carrots, I would probably slice them lengthwise again, but today we don't have to do that. And then I'm just going to line these up, and we want them pretty small. Chicken and wild rice soup usually has them pretty tiny pieces, but it's your soup. You decide how you want them, but I like them really small so they fit really well in the spoon with the other items in there. So I'm going to finish chopping up these carrots. If it's too long like this one is, like to cut through it and it becomes annoying, just cut it in half. And then that way you have an easier piece to handle with your knife. Now I did want to show you, I had just a little bit of carrots left, and my last one was pretty big, and so I cut them into smaller strips. But I did want to show you that you can do this on the chopper. Just sometimes, see like this one, it's a little hard to do. So that's why, I'm almost through. There we go. So that's why I often will go ahead and just, use my chopper, like chop my own with my knife. Okay, I'm going to add all of this to here so we can just use this as a bowl. And then all we have left is we got to chop up our chicken, and then we're ready to head to the stove. And then the last thing we need to do is we're going to have 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You could do chicken thighs too, but we're going to clean it up, just get any of those little fatty pieces that you don't like. Kind of cut those off, and then we're going to cut these into 1-inch pieces. So 1 inch just basically means we want these bite size. When I do it, I like to fillet my chicken first. So I take a knife and I just fillet it. And then I just run it lengthwise. And remember, you're just wanting this to fit on a spoon. So don't stress about it if it's too big or too small. But it'll cook faster this way on the stovetop. And the smaller they are, the easier it is to eat, like to get a little bit of everything on one spoon. So I just wanted to show you up close. So I fillet it first by just pushing it down, running my knife through it lengthwise. You don't have to do this. This just makes it easier to cut and makes the pieces even smaller. Trim off any of the pieces that you don't like any of the fat. Not all of it has to come off. Then with them stacked on top, I'm just going to run my knife through it lengthwise. Just using a sawing motion. And then once this is all done, so see they're already filleted, so you're getting them even smaller. Cut that little piece off. Then I'm just going to turn it in the pile and just cut it like this. Make sure when you're cutting, you're using the fatter part of your knife and just cutting it down into little pieces. Now you're just going to need a stock pot or a pot, and we're going to heat olive oil over medium-high heat. Add in your carrots, celery, and onions, and we're going to saute these for a few minutes until they begin to soften. I'm going to use one of my all-time favorite spoons. Then we're just going to saute these, move them around in that oil. You want to cook them until they begin to soften, and the brown bits on the bottom is completely okay. That's just going to help the soup get even more flavor. Now we're going to add in a tablespoon of minced garlic, or that would be the same as 3 cloves of garlic minced. Then add in that diced chicken. And then we are just going to brown these for about 5 minutes. So we're going to move this around and get that chicken nice and brown. Once we start getting the nice brown, we're going to go ahead and add a carton of chicken broth. That's 4 cups. If you want to save money, you could do 2 cups of broth and 2 cups of water, but I definitely would use some kind of broth or bouillon because it just adds a lot of flavor. Now that we did that, I want to go ahead and scrape the bottom of the pan and get all those good pieces up. This is called deglazing the pan. I had turned my pot down a little bit because I didn't want it to burn, and so it got a little cooler, but I'm just scraping the bottom just to make sure to get all that good stuff off and into the soup because that's the flavor. And then stir in 1 cup of milk. Then we're going to add in our simple seasonings: a half a teaspoon of pepper, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of dried oregano. And then mix this all together. Then stir in 2 cups of water, and I know it seems like a lot of broth and water, but remember we are adding rice to this and cooking the rice, and then 1 bay leaf. Now we're going to bring this to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, we're going to let it simmer for 15 minutes. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. You don't want it to come to a roiling boil. You just want it to get it nice and hot where it starts to boil, and then turn it down to about medium to medium low, so that way you can let it simmer. While that's simmering, go ahead and take the other 1 cup of milk and add in a half a cup of flour, just all-purpose flour, and then we're going to whisk this until it is combined. Then pour that milk and flour mixture right into the pot. Then you're going to stir in 1 box of Roni wild rice. Don't follow the instructions on the back. Just throw the rice straight into the soup pot and the seasoning packet mix that comes with it. Stir this together, and we're going to bring this back to a simmer and simmer it for 20 minutes. Ooh, it's smelling so good. It looks so good. Now that it's done simmering for 20 minutes, I'm just going to let this sit to cool for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to remove that bay leaf, and then we are ready to serve. I switched to my ladle. I've already got it spooned up because I wanted to let it cool for a minute. It's really good, friends. Now you just want to top it with some salt and pepper. I mean, according to your taste. So take a little taste and then see if you need more salt and pepper. I personally love fresh salt and fresh pepper right on top of my soup, but you do you. Let's give this a taste. It is still so hot, but it's gonna warm you up, guys. And if you would like this recipe in a bread bowl, like you could get it at Panera, we actually have a recipe for a Copycat bread bowl, and it's really easy to make, so I'll include that link for you as well. Or you can always just go to eatingonadime.com and search bread bowl, and it will pull right up for you. Okay, let's give it a test. Everything's tender, beautifully seasoned. Like I said, I'm gonna top it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm ready to enjoy. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of pepper and some salt, but that's just my personal preference. I do need some crusty rolls with this, friends, but look, it's beautiful. It's so easy to make, and it's just comfort in a bowl. Okay, friends, I am out of here. Thanks so much for joining me for another soup recipe. I hope you're loving this series. We are having fun making them for you. We have a few more days left, but remember, all month long, we are giving you a brand new soup recipe in your email. So all you got to do is head to the link below in the description, and we will send you those emails immediately so you can enjoy 30 different soups. That way you are having a beautiful rotation all winter long to keep you warm and cozy. Okay, beautiful people, I am out of here. Thanks so much for joining me in my kitchen. I will see you next time for another family-friendly soup. But in the meantime, don't forget to eat at home by eating on a dime. Bye, friends.